Hello, this is Daniel DiTuro. In this video, I'm going to make a basic yeast dough that you can use for loaf bread, focaccia, buns, pizza, and more. If you own a stand mixer equipped with a dough hook, you can eliminate the 10 to 15 minutes of hand kneading by letting the mixer do the kneading for you. The main ingredients are flour, water, yeast, and salt. You can also add herbs like rosemary for an herb-flavored dough. For the flour, you can use unbleached all-purpose flour or unbleached bread flour. Bread flour has more protein and will produce more gluten for a stiffer dough. For added fiber, you can use 1 cup of whole wheat flour to 3 cups white flour. For yeast, I typically use 1 to 2 packages of active dry yeast. Active dry yeast requires proofing, which requires mixing it with warm water and a little sugar to assure that the yeast is alive. An alternative is instant yeast, which is added directly to the flour without proofing. The problem with instant yeast is you won't know if the yeast is alive until 30 to 60 minutes after you've made the dough. To proof active dry yeast, add it to warm water between 100 to 110 degrees Fahrenheit. I use a glass filled with warm water, placed in a pan filled with warm water which I'll use to make the dough, and that also acts as a water bath. Add about a teaspoon of sugar, the yeast, and stir to combine. Within 5 minutes, the yeast will begin to grow. If the yeast doesn't grow, it is dead. Either the yeast was not stored properly or the water was too hot. Discard the yeast and start with another package. Place the flour and salt in the stand mixer bowl. Attach the bowl to the mixer and add the dough hook. Add the dissolved yeast and begin mixing on low, combining the flour with the liquid. Slowly add warm water from the pan until the dough begins to leave the sides of the bowl. You can vary the amount of liquid to form a stiff or a soft dough. Stiff doughs are good if you plan to roll out your pizza dough. A soft dough is preferred for bread, focaccia, buns, or if you plan to hand stretch out your pizza dough. Increase mixer speed to the setting recommended by the manufacturer and knead 8 to 12 minutes. If you add too much liquid and the dough becomes too soft, add flour 1 tablespoon at a time. A soft dough will look like the dough in this video. A very stiff dough will clear the bowl and cling to the dough hook. The dough has been kneaded long enough when pressing with a finger leaves an indentation in the dough. Most recipes say to transfer the dough to a lightly oiled bowl. I add 1 to 2 tablespoons of oil to the bowl, add a little oil to my hands, and clean the dough from the hook. And use my hand to separate the dough from the bowl, coating the dough and bowl with oil. Cover the bowl with a lid or plastic wrap and place in a warm, draft-free area for the dough to rise. If you live in a cool climate, you can wrap the bowl with a blanket. The blanket will help retain heat and decrease the rise time. In about an hour, your dough should have doubled in bulk and is ready for your favorite recipe. Thank you for watching. Buon appetito!